All right, we're progressing. Now we're going to create a so-called Git branch. So what is a Git branch? So if you go to any picture that you can find from the internet, it should give you a great idea of what Git branches are. So when you have a certain code, let me see which one makes more sense so that I can make some ideas. Or maybe I can actually draw it for you in here. So imagine if that is the time scale, the time in the sense of like writing code over time, okay? And we go across this time scale. At certain point in time, we do a so-called git checkout or a git. Let me quickly do this straightforward arrows. We do a git checkout. In this git checkout -b and then the branch name, we'll create something for us, a copy of that branch. Imagine if that is a time scale and this is the so-called main branch. Where did we see that main branch? On the terminal here. This is one branch. Each time we do this git checkout -b, we're creating another timeline. And this timeline is also bringing everything with it since it was checked out. So like literally it will copy all of these things from the inception, from the beginning. And perhaps we add new code in here. We added one git commit here, another git commit here, another git commit here. Now at the same time, these guys in the main also added this git commit here and added this git commit here and this one in here. Do you see something emerging? We do not have that one. You can see bottom here. They do not have these three that we have added. That needs to go here. And these guys are not in our branch. And then there's something called a git merge or pull request or merging things out. Now, when that thing happens, we need to do a so-called pull request. We'll see that in just a minute, or maybe in the next lecture. When we do this git pull request thingy, all our git commits goes like sits here like this. All of them now are merged together. Or if we do something else, if we want to still stay on this branch and we keep working, and we did the checkout here, we don't see these new changes coming from there. We can do something on an ad hoc basis. We can do a rebase or a merge. That means that all these changes that we do not have since the inception, they're going to come as a copy in our branch. And now we will have all the code that we have wrote, like these new code that we have wrote, and those two new code pieces that somebody else did on that other branch in our branch. And then when we go and do the merge or pull request, short for PR, and then all these changes will go back in a way that these two changes that came from the changes that we brought in from Git base will be untouched unless we change that code, and then it will go back in here. I know it's confusing, I know it's painful, but it will make sense eventually. And once it makes sense, then you will not regret learning this. Let's do that, all of those concepts a little bit in person. Okay. Now, let me take a very simple example again. I'm gonna add git checkout -b, call it a branch 1 just for the sake of simplicity. Now in branch 1, how do you know it's branch 1? You see it here on the bottom right corner. You see branch 1. I'm going to write something here called branch 1 added, save. And I'm going to use my shorthand, or maybe your way of doing it, git add dot, git commit -m, added branch 1. Now, if I go to my GitHub, and if I go on the code tab, and I refresh the page, I should see here one more branch. Because I did not push, I don't see it. When you push for the first time, it says like set the upstream. You basically copy this one line, paste it, enter, and now it is saved on the internet. Now you can see there is a new branch. Or if I refresh, I see 2 branches in here. One is main, one is branch 1. Right now, I don't see that added branch 1 in here. But if I go to branch 1, in branch 1, I see this thing, branch 1 added, this piece of code that I added. Again, for the sake of simplicity, I'm not writing code yet, but we will write code later on and you will see this in action one more time. But right now, I'm just adding a piece of text so that you can understand how this thing works. Now, this is setting on branch 1, not in branch main, which is basically this concept that we were looking at. Like I literally added, if I undo a little bit more, I have literally so far did this thing. I have added, I checked out something from main, that was main. This is my branch 1. I brought in here everything. Let's say this was also not there. There were 3 of them, and I added one thing, which is branch 1. What was the text? Branch 1 added ... So I have added this text in here. But this does not exist on main. How do I put this information back to main? And let's touch the rebase in a minute. I can put this information back to main with a so-called pull request, PR for short. Let's go and create a PR. Here you can see compare and pull request. When I create this, it asks for a title and for some description. I will just write something here. We'll later on know how to generate this description with AI, which will be an awesome way to do that. When I create pull request, you will see that there are 2 lines added, 0 lines deleted. If I go on files changed, you should see branch 1 added. Wonderful. Everything is going nicely and smooth. The moment I click on merge pull request and confirm merge, what will happen is that I have created another commit to my main branch. You see, it went from branch 1 to main. It's a good practice to delete the branches so that you don't create a lot of branches on the server. I'm going to delete it. If I go to code now, if I refresh the page, I'll see only one branch, which is main. And if I see here, I have this branch 1 added on the README page. Now, if I go here, the terminal is still staying on the branch 1. How come? I deleted the branch. Well, I deleted it on the server, on github.com, on Microsoft servers, not on my local machine. So on my local machine, I need to do this, git checkout main. If I enter, now I'm pointing to the branch main. Basically, what I have done is I said that, hey, I don't need this anymore. I already created my Git branch name. Now I am here, but with an extra piece of information that was added. But when I go to my code, I don't see that one line. That one line that I saw on my GitHub. This branch one added. Where did that go? This is the confusing part. You will end up in this pitfall. But imagine this, that you are now in this page. I'm going to just rephrase this so that I can see this part of this. And if I do this, I can do git pull. This is a new command for Git. What does git pull do? It retrieves all the changes on the server from the server on my computer. Because this change that we did earlier, this pull request, there was a pull request, we closed it. This pull request, when we clicked on merge, this change was added on the main branch of the server Git repository, not on the client Git repository, not on my computer. So therefore, we need to git pull so that all this information comes in my computer, is downloaded on my computer. Now you can see that it's downloaded, those two changes happened. Now if I go to my README file, you can see this change in here. Again, I'm sorry, it is painful, it is hard to understand, but it's crucial to understand. If you understand these concepts, I promise you will have a much better grasp on managing your code, especially Git versioning or code versioning is very crucial when it comes to vibe coding. Then you have a very good control over changing code, putting code around, and even not knowing the details of code, you'll become a much better vibe coder if you know all these Git commands. Until then, see you in the next one.